The city never slept. Even at night, lights burned like cold stars between tall metal towers. Flying traffic moved above the streets, and warning sirens echoed far away. This was not a city made for the weak. It was built for speed, profit, and survival. She walked alone. She was very small, wrapped in old cloth that once might have been a blanket. The cloth was torn and dirty, but it was all she had. Her feet were bare, blackened by dust and oil from streets. Each step hurt, but she did not slow down. She had learned long ago that stopping was dangerous. Her eyes stayed low as she moved between broken crates and trash piles. She searched for scraps, metal pieces, old wires, food packs that were not fully empty. Anything that could be traded. Anything that could keep her alive one more night. People passed her. Aliens of many kinds walked by, talking loudly, laughing, or arguing. Some looked strange, tall or armored. Others were small and fast. None of them stopped. Drones floated above, scanning faces and bodies. Their blue lights touched her for half a second, then moved on. She was not registered. She was not counted. She did not exist. That was how she survived. Her stomach burned with hunger. It felt sharp, like something inside her was tearing. She pressed her arm against it and kept walking. She did not cry. Crying brought attention. Attention brought pain. She reached into a trash pile and pulled out a broken food packet. There was a small amount of paste left inside. It smelled bad, but she did not care. She used her finger to scrape it out and swallowed quickly. Cold air cut through her cloth. The night was getting worse. She knew this part of the city was dangerous, but the richer zones had better trash. More waste. More chances. That was the trade. Risk for survival. Suddenly, she felt it. A shadow stopped in front of her. Her body reacted before her mind did. She froze. Her shoulders pulled in. Her head lowered. Her hands hid close to her chest. She waited for the usual things. A shout. A kick. A threat. But none came. Instead, there was silence. She slowly lifted her eyes. A human stood there. He was tall, but not like the armored aliens. He wore simple clothes. Old clothes. His jacket was worn at the edges, and his boots had marks of long use. His face looked tired. Not angry. Just heavy. He did not smile. He did not shout. He looked at her like he was trying to understand something he had lost. People walked around them, but he stayed still. She prepared to run. Then the human did something strange. He knelt down, not to grab her, not to block her path. He knelt so his eyes were closer to her level. That confused her more than fear ever had. His voice was quiet when he spoke. "Hey, it's cold out here." She did not answer. Her fingers tightened, ready to drop the scraps and disappear. The human noticed. He moved his hands away from her, slowly, showing empty palms. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said. She had heard lies before, many times, so she stayed silent. The human looked at her torn cloth, her bare feet, the way her body shook from cold and hunger. His jaw tightened, just for a moment. Then he asked a question no one had ever asked her before. "Do you want to come home?" The words did not make sense. Home? Her mind searched for meaning. A place, a door, a corner to hide, a bed. She had none of those. Never had. Her heart began to beat faster. This was dangerous. Offers always came with pain. She took a small step back. The human did not move closer. "That's okay," he said softly. "You don't have to answer right now." He took off his jacket and placed it gently on the ground between them. Just in case. The jacket looked warm. Very warm. Her body leaned forward before she could stop herself. Then she caught it. Fear. Fear screamed inside her head. If she touched it, he might grab her. If she trusted him, she might disappear forever. The city had taught her one rule. Hope gets you killed. She stayed still. The human stood up slowly. "I'll be right here," he said. "I'm not going anywhere." She looked up at him again. Something in his eyes was different. Not hunger. Not control. Loneliness. Deep loneliness. The wind howled through the street. Her fingers shook, and for the first time in her life, she wondered what it would feel like. To be warm. To be safe. To be wanted. She took one small step forward, and the city held its breath. The girl no one claimed. She did not touch the jacket. Not yet. Her eyes stayed locked on it, like it might disappear if she blinked. Warmth was dangerous. Warmth made people careless, and carelessness got you hurt. The human waited. He did not speak again. He did not move closer. He stood there like he had all the time in the world, even though the city never waited for anyone. Her fingers slowly loosened around the scraps she had collected. They fell to the ground with a soft metal sound. Normally, she would panic. Scraps were life. Scraps were safety. But her eyes never left the jacket. The wind grew stronger. It cut through her thin cloth like knives. Her body shook, harder now. She hated that he could see it. Hated that he knew. The human took one step back. "Still your choice," he said quietly. That confused her again. Everything in her life had been forced. Where to sleep, where to hide, when to run, when to stay silent. Choice was a word she did not understand. Slowly, very slowly, she reached forward. Her fingers touched the jacket. Nothing happened. No alarms. No hands grabbing her. No sudden pain. The cloth was warm. Too warm. Her breath caught in her chest. She pulled her hand back quickly, like she had touched fire. The human stayed still. She looked at him again. He looked away. Not in fear. In respect. That was new. She grabbed the jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. The warmth hit her all at once. Her legs almost gave out. She had forgotten what warmth felt like. Forgotten what it did to the body. For a moment, she felt weak. And weakness terrified her. She turned, ready to run. That was when the sirens changed. A low alert hum rolled through the street. Drones shifted position. Red lights replaced blue. Unregistered life form scan in progress. Her heart stopped. She knew those words. She had seen what happened when scanners locked onto the unwanted. She backed away fast. The human noticed immediately. "Hey," he started. Too late. A drone dropped lower. Its red beam swept across the street. It passed over the human. Then it moved toward her. She ran. Bare feet slapped against cold metal. She turned into a narrow alley, then another, then another. Her lungs burned. The jacket slowed her down, but she did not let it go. Behind her, the drone followed. The human ran too. He should not have. Humans were slow compared to drones. But he ran anyway. "Stop," the drone ordered. Unregistered subject detected. She climbed over a broken fence, scraping her arm. Pain flashed, but she did not stop. She slipped through a gap between buildings and ducked behind a pile of old machinery. The drone hovered above. Then something unexpected happened. The human stepped into the open. "She's with me," he said. The drone scanned him. "Clarify. She's my responsibility." That was a lie. The system knew it. "Human," the drone said, "this life form is not listed under your care." The human's jaw tightened. "Not yet," he replied. The drone paused. That pause saved her life. The city had rules. Old ones. Human-made ones. Humans had fought hard to keep them. The drone recalculated. Warning issued. It said finally. Area will be monitored. It rose back into the air and moved away. Silence returned to the alley. She stayed hidden, shaking. The human slowly walked toward her hiding place. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know the scan cycle changed." She waited for anger, for blame. It did not come. He crouched down again, keeping his distance. "They won't leave you alone out here," he said. "Not anymore." Her fingers tightened inside the jacket. She knew he was right. Once noticed, you were marked. Once marked, you were hunted. She looked at him. Really looked this time. His face had scars. Old ones. His eyes carried grief, not greed. His hands shook slightly, not from fear but from holding something back. "You don't have to trust me," he said. "But if you stay here, they will find you." She understood that. The city always found what it wanted. She took one small step toward him, then another. He did not move. She stopped in front of him and looked up. Her voice came out broken and unused. "Why?" The human swallowed. "Because someone once left me alone," he said. "And I promised myself I wouldn't do that again." That answer changed something inside her. Something old. Something buried. She did not know it yet. But her species had not survived by strength or weapons. They survived by connection. And for the first time since she was born, someone had chosen her. Far above the city, unseen sensors began to react. Something ancient had just stirred, and the galaxy was about to notice. A place that should not exist. The human did not take her straight home. That was the first thing that surprised her. Instead, he led her through long streets, away from the bright towers and noisy zones. They walked through places where lights flickered and old buildings leaned toward each other like tired giants. She stayed 2 steps behind him. Always. That was survival. Every sound made her flinch. Every shadow felt alive. The jacket stayed tight around her small body. It smelled like metal, oil, and something warm, something human. They reached a transport lift hidden between 2 abandoned shops. The door opened with a slow hiss. Inside, the light was soft and yellow, not harsh like the city lights. She froze at the door. Closed spaces were dangerous. The human noticed. "It doesn't lock," he said gently. "You can leave any time." Another strange promise. She stepped inside. The lift moved down. Down was worse than up. Down meant forgotten places. Old tunnels. No help. Her heart beat faster with every second. When the door opened, she expected darkness. Instead, there was light. A small corridor. Clean. Quiet. Real. This place should not exist in this part of the city. The human walked first, slow and careful. He opened a door at the end of the hall. Warm air flowed out. She stopped breathing. Inside was a small living space. Not big, not rich, but alive. Real walls. Soft lights. A table with scratches. A couch that had been repaired many times. A home. She did not step inside. Homes were traps. The human placed a bowl of food on the table and stepped away. "I'll be in the other room," he said. "You eat if you want." He left. That confused her more than anything else. No watching. No rules. No orders. Her body moved before her fear could stop it. She stepped inside. The door stayed open. She approached the table slowly, like the food might attack her. The smell made her dizzy. It was warm. Real. Not trash. She took one bite. Her knees gave out. She sat on the floor and ate with shaking hands. She tried to eat slowly, like she had seen others do. She failed. Hunger won. She ate like someone who had been starving her whole life. Tears fell into the bowl. She did not understand why she was crying. After she finished, she waited. Nothing happened. No punishment. No price. Her body grew heavy. Warmth filled her chest and arms. The jacket slipped from her shoulders. She lay down on the floor without thinking. The floor was warm. That alone was dangerous. She fell asleep. Deep. Hard. No dreams. That was when the sensors noticed her. Far above the city, in places no street child had ever seen, machines awakened. Energy readings appeared on silent screens. Unknown biological response detected. Source: lower sector. Her species had been studied before. Labeled weak. Labeled useless. But this reading was wrong. Very wrong. In the apartment, the human watched her sleep from the doorway. He did not smile. His hand shook, because when he placed the food down earlier, his other child had been watching. A human child. Older. Quiet. And when the girl had entered the room, the lights had flickered. Just once. The human told himself it was nothing. The city was old. Power systems failed all the time. But deep down, a familiar fear returned. The fear he felt during the war. The fear that meant something big was coming. The girl shifted in her sleep. Her skin glowed for half a second, so faint that anyone else would have missed it. The human did not. He stepped back slowly, not in fear of her, in fear for her, because he knew the galaxy, and the galaxy did not forgive miracles. Above them, a report was finalized. Reclassification requested. Subject no longer dormant. A countdown began, and in a small forgotten home beneath a cruel city, something impossible was waking up. When kindness triggers fear, the girl woke up suddenly, not for noise, not from fear, from silence. The room felt different, too still. She sat up slowly, the jacket slipping from her shoulders. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she smelled food, clean air, warm metal walls. Her chest tightened. She was still here. She looked around. The human home was quiet. The lights were dim. The city noise was far away, like it could not reach this place. She stood up carefully. Her body felt strange, not weak, heavy, like something inside her had grown overnight. She touched her arm. Warm, too warm. In the other room, The human was awake. He had not slept. He sat at the table, staring at an old data screen. Lines of text moved across it. Warning colors flashed and disappeared. He turned when he heard her footsteps. "You're awake," he said softly. She nodded. They stood there, not knowing what to do next. Then the human noticed it. The air between them shimmered. Just a little, like heat rising from metal. He froze. She saw fear in his eyes. Real fear. Her heart dropped. She tried to speak, but the air vibrated with her voice. The lights flickered again, stronger this time. She covered her mouth. The shimmer stopped. The human stood slowly. "It's okay," he said, but his voice was tight. "You didn't do anything wrong." That was another strange sentence. Everything she had ever done was wrong to someone. He took one careful step closer. The floor creaked. Energy rippled outward. A cup on the table tipped over and fell. Both of them stared. She backed away fast. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The words hurt her mouth. She was not used to using them. The human raised his hands. "No," he said quickly. "Don't be. Please." She did not understand. Outside, far above the lower city, scanners locked onto a precise location. Signal confirmed. Activation phase progressing. The girl pressed herself against the wall. "I'll leave," she said. "I don't want trouble." She meant it. Trouble always followed her. The human felt something break inside his chest. "No," he said, louder this time. Stronger. "You're not leaving." She looked at him shocked. "You don't understand," she said. "Bad things happen when I stay." He walked closer again. This time, the air trembled, but he did not stop. "Bad things happen when I left someone once," he replied. "I won't do that again." She stared at him. No one had ever fought for her before. At that moment, a soft alarm chimed in the apartment. The human turned pale. That alarm had not sounded since the war. He looked at the screen. Unscheduled observation zone established. "They found you," he said quietly. Her legs weakened. "I told you," she whispered. The building shook slightly. Not an attack. A landing. Heavy boots echoed from above. Voices. Not human voices. The human moved fast. "Listen to me," he said. "There's a back route. Old tunnels. I can hide you." She shook her head. "They won't stop," she said. "They never do." He grabbed a small device from the wall and pressed it into her hands. "This is a human ID chip," he said. "It won't fool them forever, but it buys time." She looked at the device like it was a weapon. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. He met her eyes. "Because humans don't abandon family." The word hit her harder than any weapon. Family. The door above them slammed open. Alien voices filled the hallway. Unregistered life form detected. The girl felt something inside her break open. Not fear, anger, pain. Years of being ignored. Thrown away. Hunted. The walls vibrated. The human shouted, "Stop." Too late. Energy surged through her body. The air bent outward in a silent wave. Every light in the building went dark. Above them, scanners failed all at once. In orbit, command stations erupted into chaos. System error. Unknown force interaction. The girl collapsed to her knees, gasping. The human caught her before she hit the floor. Outside, silence fell. A terrible, shocked silence. Somewhere very far away, a galactic council member whispered. That species was never supposed to wake up. And in a small human home, holding a child the galaxy feared. The human made a decision that would change everything. The day humans said no. The silence after the surge was worse than the noise before it. The building stood frozen in darkness. No alarms. No lights. No voices. The city outside felt far away, like it was holding its breath. The girl lay in the human's arms, barely conscious. Her skin was warm, too warm, and her breathing was uneven. Small lines of light moved slowly under her skin, like something alive was learning how to exist. The human held her tighter. "Stay with me," he whispered. He had said the same words once before, to his wife, on a battlefield full of fire and broken metal. He stood up carefully and laid the girl on the couch. His other child watched from the doorway, silent, eyes wide but not afraid. "She's not a monster," the human said quietly. "No matter what they say." The child nodded. Above the city, the blackout caused panic. Military sensors rebooted. Civilian networks failed. Ships lost guidance for exactly 7 seconds. 7 seconds was nothing. 7 seconds was everything. In the Galactic Council chamber, voices rose in alarm. That was not a weapon, one delegate said. No known species can do this, said another. She's a myth, a third whispered. Dormant bloodline. Supposedly extinct. A cold voice answered. Not extinct. Suppressed. Orders were given. Containment teams deployed. Not soldiers. Collectors. Back in the apartment, emergency lights flickered back on. The human knew what that meant. They're coming again, he said. The girl's eyes opened slightly. She felt them. Not with sight. Not with sound. With something deeper. They are scared, she whispered. The human stiffened. You can feel them? She nodded weakly. They fear what they can't own. Heavy impacts hit the building. Not explosions, precision landings. The walls hummed under controlled force. A voice echoed through the hall, calm and cold. Human resident. Step aside. The child is not yours. The human stepped in front of the couch. She is, he said. That is biologically incorrect. Then your biology is wrong, the human replied. The door melted open. Not broken. Not blasted. Removed. 3 figures entered. Tall. Wrapped in pale armor that reflected light like glass. Their faces were hidden. One of them looked at the girl. Dormant catalyst confirmed, it said. Awakening unstable. The girl tried to sit up. Pain rushed through her body. The human placed a hand on her shoulder. Easy, he said. The lead collector raised a device. Human, it said, step away or be restrained. The human did not move. Behind him, the girl felt something snap into place inside her mind. She understood now. Her kind was not weak. They were keys. They did not destroy. They revealed. Stop, she said. The word carried weight. The collectors froze. Their armor lights flickered. Impossible. The lead one spoke again, slower now. Explain. She stood up, legs shaking but strong. You hit us, she said. Because when we awaken, lies cannot survive. Data screens across the collector's armor lit up. Unfiltered records. Purges. Experiments. False classifications. The truth spilled out. Across local networks. Across human channels. Across places the council thought were silent. The human stared in shock. You're broadcasting, he whispered. She nodded. I can't stop it. The collectors stepped back. For the first time afraid. Outside the building, human neighbors gathered. Veterans. Workers. Refugees. People who had lost someone to council orders. They watched the feed. And something ancient awakened in humans too. Anger. Purpose. The lead collector issued a retreat signal. Containment failed, it said. Risk escalating. The girl swayed. The human caught her again. You're safe, he said fiercely. You hear me? You're safe. She looked up at him. No, she said softly. But you are. Above the planet, human defense fleets powered up. Not for war. For protection. In the council chamber, a single sentence appeared on every screen. Humans have declared custodial claim. The room fell silent. Because everyone in the galaxy knew what that meant. When humans claim someone as family, they never let go. And the girl, once alone, once invisible, closed her eyes, knowing one truth. The galaxy had finally noticed her, and it was too late to turn back. Why the galaxy fears human promises. The message spread faster than anyone expected. Humans have declared custodial claim. Across stations, ships, and border worlds, the sentence appeared again and again. For most species, it meant nothing. For those who knew humans, it meant everything. In the apartment, the girl slept again. Her body could not stay awake after what she had done. The light under her skin faded, but the air still felt charged, like a storm waiting. The human sat beside her. He had been a soldier once. He had seen battles, fire, and death. But this moment scared him more than any war. Because now the galaxy was watching. Above the planet, human ships arrived. Not war fleets, but shields. Old carriers, medical vessels, civilian escorts. They formed a protective ring without firing a single shot. It was a human message. We are here. Do not touch what is ours. The Galactic Council responded quickly. A broadcast reached every human channel. This claim is unlawful, the Council declared. The child is a classified entity. Release her for containment. Humans did not shout. They did not threaten. They responded with data. Records of missing children. Forced experiments. Species erased quietly. The girl's power had unlocked it all. Truth moved like fire. On Earth, people watched in silence. Parents, veterans, orphans. A pattern became clear. The galaxy feared what humans protected. Back in the apartment, the human's other child sat nearby, holding the girl's hand. She's shaking, the child said. The human nodded. She's carrying too much. At that moment, the girl spoke in her sleep. They're coming closer, she whispered. Not ship's laws. The human understood. The council could not win with force. So they would use rules. Treaties. Technical words. Ownership claims. The most dangerous weapons of all. A council envoy arrived in orbit. Not armored. Not armed. Wrapped in symbols of authority. It requested a meeting. The human was summoned. He laughed once, bitter and tired. They want permission, he said. That means they're already losing. He stood, adjusted his worn jacket, and looked at the girl. I'll be back, he promised. She opened her eyes. Don't go alone, she said. He shook his head. That's the thing about humans, he replied. We never do. The meeting chamber was cold and wide. Council members appeared as holograms, towering, distant, untouchable. You are outmatched, one said. I know, the human replied. Then stand aside. No. The word echoed. The council tried reason. You cannot protect her forever. The human leaned forward. You don't understand, he said. We're not protecting her from the galaxy. He paused. We're protecting the galaxy from what happens if you take her. Silence followed, because deep down, they knew he was right. Back on the planet, the girl sat up suddenly. Her eyes glowed, not bright, clear. She saw something new. Not lies. Not fear. Choice. They're afraid of humans, she said softly to the other child. Not because they fight. Then why? The child asked. Because humans adopt what the galaxy throws away, she replied, and then refused to give it back. Her power changed. No longer a burst. A focus. She reached outward, not to attack, but to bind. Across council space, systems froze, not broken, just paused. A message appeared on every council screen. Guardian status active. The council panicked. This violates. It completes, her voice replied, carried through human networks. The human envoy froze mid-sentence. The girl stood now, steady, strong. I choose, she said, and humans choose with me. On Earth and beyond, humans answered. Not with weapons. With unity. The council realized the truth too late. This was not a rebellion. It was adoption. And adoption, once complete, could not be undone. The child the galaxy could not take. The galaxy waited. For weapons. For war. For destruction. None came. Instead, every system across council space remained paused, frozen in perfect balance. Ships did not fall. Cities did not fail. Nothing was damaged. Everything simply stopped. In the council chamber, panic turned into fear. This power is not possible, one member said. She is not attacking, another whispered. She is deciding. On the planet below, the girl stood in the human home, surrounded by people who had chosen her without knowing why. Neighbors, veterans, refugees, humans who had lost too much. The human stood beside her. Not in front, not behind, beside. That mattered. Her glow faded until she looked like what she truly was. A child. Small, tired, alive. I was never meant to rule, she said, her voice calm but strong. My kind does not conquer. The council listened. They had no choice. We exist to answer one question, she continued. Who will stand when someone is left behind? Images spread across the galaxy. Her past, the streets, the cold, the drones that ignored her. Then another image. A human kneeling in the dark, asking, do you want to come home? The council felt something they had not felt in generations. Shame. You feared us, the girl said, because we reveal truth. But humans, they act on it. She turned to the human. He did not speak. He did not need to. You call me family, she said. That choice changed everything. The systems unfroze, but something else locked into place. A new law, not written by force, written by witness. Across every major world, a signal appeared. Guardian species recognized humanity. Protected status, all adopted beings. The council tried to object. The girl looked at them, and they stopped, because they saw it now. Her power was not control. It was consent made absolute. You cannot take what has been chosen, she said, and I choose them. The council chamber went dark. When it came back online, the seats were empty. Not destroyed, resigned. The galaxy did not cheer. It breathed. Days passed, then weeks. The girl returned to school, human school. She learned words, numbers, laughter. She stumbled. She grew. She slept through the night. The human watched her from the doorway, smiling in a way he had not smiled since before the war. One evening, she sat beside him and asked, "What happens now?" He thought for a moment. "Now," he said, "now we live." She nodded. Far above, historians rewrote records. Not about a war, not about a weapon, but about a moment, when a single human refused to walk past a child in the dark. And the galaxy learned something it would never forget. Humans were not the strongest, not the smartest, not the oldest, but when they chose someone, they changed the universe. And somewhere in a warm, small home beneath cold stars, a girl who once gathered scraps fell asleep knowing one simple truth. She was no longer invisible. She was family.